Superstars are the pillars of any professional sports league. High school prodigies turned into college stars, turned into the world's greatest athletes. Today, though, we'll look into something else: the players that surpassed expectations and proved coaches, executives, and fans wrong, being selected in the second round of the draft and leaving their signature in the league's long-term history. This is the greatest players that were drafted in the second round. Number 10. DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan was drafted with the 35th overall pick of the 2008 draft. During his college career, he only averaged 6 rebounds, 1 block, and less than 8 points per game. In his rookie season with the Clippers, he didn't look promising at all, coming off the bench and scoring only 4 points per night. It wasn't until his 6th season when he first averaged double-digit points. He went from averaging 7.2 rebounds and 1.4 blocks to 13.6 rebounds and 2.5 blocks as well. It wasn't just a fluke. For the next 5 seasons, he averaged at least 11 points, 13 rebounds, and 1 block on 64% shooting from the field. He's been selected to an All-NBA team 3 times. And finally, he's led the NBA in shooting percentages 4 times, and twice in total rebounds. Number 9. Stephen Jackson. Jackson is the kind of player who may not have had all the fancy accolades next to his name, but he has the most important one, which he completely earned: NBA champion. Jackson attended Butler County Community College. Only 4 other players who played there have made it to the NBA so far. He was selected in the 1997 draft with the 14th pick of the second round by the Phoenix Suns, and was waived just a day before the season's opening night. Jackson had to wait 3 full years after he was drafted to make his professional debut as a New Jersey Net. He worked his way up and became a valuable role player, but his most important days in the league arrived when he was signed by the Spurs in 2001. In the 2003 NBA Finals, he helped San Antonio win the championship, averaging 10 points, 7 rebounds, and almost 2 blocks throughout the series. He went from being unsigned for 3 years to become the 3rd leading scorer on a championship team ahead of David Robinson and Ginobili. After the championship season, he didn't return to the team's roster. He went on to be part of great, iconic teams such as the Pacers with Ron Artest and Jermaine O'Neal, and the We Believe Warriors, who famously upset the first-seeded Mavericks team in '07. His individual numbers were still improving even after his first 9 years in the league. Jackson's story just goes to show how much effort and passion are valuable for a team, and if you are going to win a championship, you need a player like him on your team. Number 8. Calvin Murphy. Murphy, or if we go by his nickname, Pocket Rocket, was selected with the first pick of the second round in the 1970 draft. Since his first season in the association, he showed that he was made for the professional stage. He stood only at 5 feet and 9 inches tall and weighed 165 pounds. Despite this physical disadvantage, he managed to become an all-star and craft a Hall of Fame career. He averaged over 20 points per game 5 times in a surprisingly efficient shooting percentage. After his rookie season, he never shot below 86% from the free throw line, and in 1981, at 32 years of age, he shot a staggering 96% from the line, making 206 out of the 215 free throws he attempted. He was a consistent and reliable player, and even the year before he retired, he was still putting up impressive numbers. It's surprising that 17 NBA scouts let him slip through the cracks of the draft, taking into consideration that he averaged 38.2 points per game for the Niagara Purple Eagles at the age of 19, after all. You know what they say, heart over height. Number 7. Mark Price. Drafted by the Dallas Mavericks in the 1986 draft with the first pick of the second round after staying 4 years playing for Georgia Tech, Mark Price is iconic for being the face of the Cleveland Cavaliers franchise until LeBron came and stole that title 6 years after his retirement. Price is one of the greatest shooters ever. He never quite made it into the 50-40-90 club, but he got really close multiple times. That's even more impressive if you add the fact that he was 6 feet tall and weighed only 170 pounds. He made over 94% of his free throw for 3 consecutive seasons. It would be hard to overstate how spectacular that is. During his career, he made the All-Star team and the All-NBA team 4 times each. Number 6. Marc Gasol. The 48th pick of the 2007 NBA draft was selected by the Los Angeles Lakers, but traded to the Grizzlies for his brother before he got the chance to play for the team. Right out of the get-go, even as a second-round pick, Marc Gasol became the starting center for Memphis. In his sophomore year, he averaged 14.6 points and 9.3 rebounds per game on almost 60% shooting from the field. In 2017, he became the third center to average at least 4.5 assists, 1 block, and 1 three-pointer made per game, which makes sense given that he is one of the best passers at his position ever. He was the Defensive Player of the Year in 2013 and is a very good shooter from outside the perimeter as well. Since the 2017 season, he has made more three-pointers than Derrick Rose and John Wall combined, shooting at a more efficient rate as well. Gasol has changed his game as basketball has evolved, and he has been able to adapt to this new era thanks to his incredibly high IQ and almost unmatched skills. Number 5. Gilbert Arenas. The 2001 NBA draft was nothing spectacular. It wasn't all-time bad by any means, but the fact that one of its most accomplished players came in the form of the 31st pick shows that the scouts weren't in their A-game when selecting the lottery picks. Gilbert Arenas made his professional debut as a Golden State Warrior, and he was a very good player for them for 2 years. From his first to his second season, he improved by 8 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists per game. That's splendid, and it got him the Most Improved Player of the Year award. But he didn't get to All-NBA status until he was in Washington. From 2005 to 2007, he averaged 28 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds per game. After that span, he suffered from injuries, which derailed his career. In the first round of the 2006 playoffs, Agent Zero went up against the LeBron James-led Cleveland Cavaliers. For the series, he averaged a staggering 34 points, 5.5 rebounds, 5.3 assists, and 2.2 steals per game, shooting over 43% from three-point range. Arenas was something special indeed. Number 4. Manu Ginobili. The 2008 Sixth Man of the Year, the 4-time champion, Manu Ginobili had a long and successful career that nobody could have seen coming before the 1999 draft. He was close to not even being selected at all, chosen with the 57th pick. For his career, Manu had a higher PER and a greater number of win shares than Isaiah Thomas. He is one of 6 guards to average over 12 points in 60% effective field goal percentage in the 21st century. Manu's contributions to the game of basketball cannot be overstated. He revolutionized and popularized the Euro step and became an international icon when he helped Argentina win the gold medal in Athens in 2004. He was part of arguably the most important trio in basketball history. And, of course, his jersey will one day hang on the rafters of the AT&T Center along with the many championship banners he helped put up there. Number 3. Nate Tiny Archibald. Nate Archibald didn't get his nickname for no reason. He stood just above 6 feet tall and still managed to dominate the game. He was selected with the second pick of the second round. The NBA draft worked differently back then, so in today's league, that would mean he was the 19th overall pick. But still, this was the second round in the 70s. The improvement he made from his rookie season to his third one is nothing short of jaw-dropping. He went from averaging 16 points and 5 assists to 34 and 11 on 48% field goal percentage, making him the first and only player to lead the NBA in scoring and assists in the same season. Unfortunately, his greatness was cut short after suffering an Achilles injury, which prevented him from participating in the 1978 campaign. When he came back, he was never quite the same. Nevertheless, when his career was over, he had a scoring title, a championship, and 5 All-NBA selections under his belt. It's safe to say that he was no underachiever. Number 2. Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman holds many nicknames: Dennis the Menace, Country, Psycho, Rodzilla, Demolition Man, etc., but his most iconic, of course, is the Worm. Selected with the third pick of the second round in 1986 by the Detroit Pistons, he came into a league that was extremely physical and rewarded hustle over skill in a lot of ways. But most importantly, he came into a team that embodied that same mentality. It's astonishing to see Rodman's numbers get better and better as the years of his career went by. His stats are just bizarre. In his rookie season, he averaged only 4 rebounds, but basically grabbed as many offensive rebounds as defensive ones. By his third season, he was averaging more rebounds than points, shooting at a great percentage from the field, 59%. All of this while coming off the bench. He had won back-to-back championships by the age of 28. Between 1992 and 1994, he averaged 7 points and 18.1 rebounds. It took Rodman only 3 years to grab 300 more rebounds than Draymond Green has had in the entirety of his career. In 1994, when he was with San Antonio, he was averaging almost 4 times as many rebounds per game as he was doing points. He went on to win 3 more rings with the Bulls and finish his career as an 8-time All-Defensive Player, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 7-time Rebounding Champion, 2-time All-Star, 5-time NBA Champion, and, of course, a Hall of Famer. Bonus fact, since 1980, he is one of only 2 players who's under 6 feet 7 inches tall to average at least 14 rebounds per game for a whole season, which he accomplished 8 times. Honorable mentions: Tony Kukoc, career averages of 11.6 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 3.7 assists per game, 3-time NBA champion, and 1996's 6th Man of the Year. Draymond Green, career averages of 9.1 points, 6.9 rebounds, and 4.9 assists per game, 3-time NBA champion, 2-time All-NBA player, and 2017 Defensive Player of the Year. Maurice Cheeks, career averages of 11.1 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 6.7 assists per game, NBA champion, 5 All-Defensive Team selections, Hall of Famer. Number 1. Alex English. Here it is, the greatest player to ever be selected in the second round of the draft. During his senior year in college, he averaged a double-double with 22 points and 10 rebounds. Although his rebounding skills didn't translate very well to the NBA level, we can confidently say that his scoring abilities did. Just look at his career stats. 1,194 games played, 21.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 3.6 assists per game on 50% shooting percentage. He averaged over 25 points per game 8 times in a row. He is the Denver Nuggets' all-time leading scorer by a margin of over 5,000 points. He didn't have a great start for his career, however, coming off the bench for the 1997 Milwaukee Bucks, which only won 30 games while he was contributing 5 points and 3 rebounds a night, but that only makes his eventual great career all the more impressive. He never won a championship, but still, he managed to get deep into the playoffs a couple of times. In the 1986 Western Conference semifinals, he went up against Hakeem Olajuwon and proceeded to outscore him throughout the series, averaging 29.2 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. In 1985, facing what would eventually be the NBA champions of that season, the Los Angeles Lakers with Magic, Kareem, and Worthy, he outperformed all of them, putting up an efficient 30 points per game and even scoring 40 on Game 2 to give the Nuggets a victory before getting eliminated. Alex English is an NBA legend who went up against some of the best players who ever stepped into a basketball court, and he consistently showed that he belonged amongst them. He finished his career as a scoring champion, a 3-time All-NBA team member, an 8-time All-Star, and a first-ballot Hall of Famer. So that's it for today. Tell us in the comments section who you think is missing from the list. Like this video and subscribe for more Mixtape Videos content.